what have you been playing this week?
Well, I've been playing Pokemon Legends Arceus.
Get ready to experience Pokemon like never before.
I'm so excited to hear what you have to say
I
about it.
don't know how you guys want to take this. How you guys want to
Look,
do this?
I've seen some footage, and just to get out the way, I played Death's Door and Nobody Saves the World. Alfredo, you've kind of already talked about Death's Door. Not really much more to say about it. Great game on Game Pass. Go ahead and play it if you haven't played it yet. That's what I've been playing this week. Let's get into the meat and bones of this conversation. How do you like Pokemon?
Yes.
I like Pokemon. I don't really like Pokemon. She's kind of she grates on me, but you know.
I totally forgot that that's actual person.
I did too.
Real streamer beef.
Totally
Streamer
forgot
beef.
about her.
Streamer beef.
Don't start a war between us and Pokemon.
Start a streamer beef.
No, we're gonna start a war. I'm all about the chaos. You already know.
Yeah. Streamer beef. It's good for views.
Wow.
So everyone in chat, go to Pokemon and call her a poo poo head.
At Dukes of Gaming.
At Dukes of Gaming.
Don't do that. Don't listen to him.
No, do it.
Bad
Pokemon.
press is good press. Let's go.
Any press is good press. Pokemon Legends Arceus is pretty good. It's pretty good. I'm pleasantly surprised. Now, mind you, I've only gotten to the first boss. I've been playing.
How many hours is that?
Probably 4 hours so far. And then I've enjoyed pretty much every moment of it. I'm very excited for the future of Pokemon. I'll put it that way. I might not be the most impressed by this game. There are some glaring issues, and specifically the graphics.
Mm-hmm.
I know that's the big one, and
but we knew that going in.
Yeah, we knew that
coming in. But
it's almost like they telegraphed like these graphics will be bad.
It will suck.
But
it's fine.
It is bad. So much so that like your character model does a little bow when they're done talking to someone, and in some lighting, if it's like midday and it's fully bright outside and the lighting is casting in her face and she bows, you can see the pins underneath her character model, just for like a brief second, but it's enough for me to notice and go, "Oh, oof." What they did though is they made all the Pokemon models spot on. All of the Pokemon models work perfectly. They're cute. They're animated. They are almost realistic. To the extent
as realistic as a Pokemon
game can get. They interact well with the environment. They do silly things. They move well in this game. So I think all of the animation and 3D modeling budget went to making the Pokemon work, because that's been a big thing in old games. Is the Pokemon, after they moved to 3D, kind of just sort of maintained that 2D. They're a picture quality. They never really did much more. They had like one animation and that was it. They were very static. And that created a lot of lack of connection. You couldn't connect with Pokemon the same way you could when they were 3D sprites, because they looked bad now that they were in 3D.
Oh, you mean 2D sprites when they were like
Yes.
Ruby Sapphire? Yeah. Like that's when I consider like that era, like that Ruby Sapphire, Fire Red, Leaf Green. To me, that's the prime of Pokemon animation.
You could really attach yourself to these Pokemon because they were, and you knew, you weren't pretending that they weren't anything other than cartoon characters. But the more and more Pokemon goes to 3D, the more and more people want that their Pokemon act like animals. And they do in this game. There's a cute little mechanic where you can throw out your entire team anywhere on the map and they all just sit around you and start interacting. And it's really cute. They interact well.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's honestly what I've been waiting for.
Right.
Well, what you've been waiting for, and this, I'll say it, this is the closest Pokemon's ever gotten to the anime.
That's what I'm looking
finally.
for.
Yeah.
I have a question. I have a question for you. Keep going though.
Yeah.
How do the Pokemon sound?
They don't have, the voice, acting.
The anime voices.
Anime voices. But what they do have is updated MIDI sounds.
Okay.
They do sound better.
It's a start.
They do sound better. They definitely re-recorded a lot of the Pokemon noise, because Pokemon will roar at you and kind of meekishly tweet at you, and like they updated that in a pretty decent way. I'm gonna give the graphics a pass. It took me a while to get over it because the first hour of the game is still the classic Pokemon tutorial where you're just mashing A.
Mhm.
But as soon as you get into the open world, as soon as you get into the open areas and start actually playing the game, and you see the Pokemon and you're interacting with them and you're hunting them and you're sneaking around to catch certain Pokemon, you really do start to forgive the graphics because it is genuinely amazing this game works. There are let me paint it for you this way. You can attack a boulder to break the boulder open with one Pokemon. And while you're doing that, you can throw a Pokeball to start a fight with another Pokemon. So you can interact with two things at once ultimately with your team because every time you go up to a tree that has berries in it, you want to shake them down, you call on a Pokemon to knock the tree down. And a
Mhm.
Pokemon comes out and tackles it and, falls. Same thing with rocks. That's really immersive. That makes you feel like your partners are working with you.
Mhm.
Um,
Granted, that doesn't sound like a big ask, but from playing Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, which are remakes of,
yeah,
the original Diamond and Pearl games that came out on the DS, was it? I think.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's it's a really simple concept, but I feel like these are basic things that we've been waiting on for so long that now that they're here, we're like, oh my god, they finally did it. When they could have done something like that a long time ago. But I do think it's amazing. But my question is, so far, on your opinion, what is this game bringing that would make you say this game is far and above the future, without a doubt, the future of Pokemon? Like, what is it doing
Y-
that has not been done before in Pokemon that makes you excited for the future and
y-
why it's worth playing now?
Okay. I would say this game brings to the table um, a, a quasi realistic RPG experience with Pokemon. Instead of the old games where it just was by default an RPG,
Mhm.
I think this game makes you actually feel like you are playing an RPG. You are role playing as your character. You are properly interacting with the world in meaningful ways instead of just because you have to.
Mhm.
Um, I think they've added boss fights to the game, which is a good step forward. It actually feels like you have to fight to survive. One of the main characters in the game, basically, when you show up in the game, so spoilers, it is an isekai. You are the character from Diamond and Pearl. You are the character you just played in Shining Diamond and Pearl, but you have been transported.
I thought they looked similar.
Well, I mean, it's not. Yeah, they are the
I chalk
exact
it
same
up to just
character,
Pokemon shenanigans. They
right?
didn't want to create a new model.
Pokey-nanigans, yeah.
Yeah.
Story wise, it is you are the character who just beat the game in Diamond and Pearl,
I did just do that. Wow.
and now you are being transported back in time to the land 200-ish years ago, and
Okay.
things
So it
things are
wasn't an
yeah
accident that that game literally just came out. And I
yeah
was
it
like, didn't I just play this? I don't feel
yeah
the need to play this other game.
It was like a
uh
It's
sequel
different,
to
you're
the
saying.
remake. That's
it's a sequel
hilarious.
to the remake. It's
Mhm.
it's very the story is the best a Pokemon game has had, other than Black and White 2, which I still
Oh,
maintain
really?
has the best story. But
Hmm.
fun fact, the person who directed Pokemon Arceus, Kazuki oh no, uh Kazumasa Iwo, Iwao, I don't know. He directed Pokemon Black and White 2.
Oh, wow.
That's
Huh.
where he got his start.
Oh, wow.
He has mostly only directed the good Pokemon games. Um, and the programmer they got for the game, I don't know why they got him because he has only worked on the worst games.
Oh.
So they had like the best ideas and then some of the worst programming.
Hmm.
So that may have hurt the game a little bit. I I really do. There are small complaints. First things first, like the main gameplay mechanic of the game is going around catching as many Pokemon as you can. You have to catch so many Pokemon in this game, and it doesn't really get tiring because it's not that hard. It's only hard when the game rolls a dice and chooses to have you critical fail. And then all of a sudden it becomes a quick little, you got to put your thinking cap on and catch this Pokemon because they all act differently. There's 3 different styles the Pokemon can act in. And it's they don't care about you. They do care about you and are skittish, or they hate you and will attack you.
Okay.
And then within that, each Pokemon has a different like style of doing that. Like little Shinx will attack you like right away. It's a little tiger. It'll roar at you and
That's
fight
my
you right
favorite
away.
Pokemon.
Great.
I like
It
Shinx.
looks good
Love
in this
him.
game. And then the battling battling trainers in this game isn't supposed to be a main thing, so it was kind of thrown in last minute, it seems, because all the animation that makes this game a little bit better than old ones, where the Pokemon actually go up and attack the other one, like you throw your Pikachu, it tackles the Trico across the way. Trico's not in this game, I know that, but um it just goes up and runs at it and tackles it. And in trainer battles, it's the old way where the Pokemon just sort of move in place. It's like they just
Oh,
forgot to
okay.
add the animations between the attacks. But wild battles, you attack physically, and it looks really cool. Like the battles work, and you can run around while you're in battles. You're not locked in one place. You can run around to see different angles of the battle going on.
You can do little coaching,
Yeah,
class, like
yeah, yeah.
walk around
You can't do that. That would be cool. That will
one
be
day.
something they add. They do have that in old Pokemon games, so that will be something they add one day to these games, 100%. Um, the world is a little empty. The world is a little bit empty, I would say. But then again, Breath of the Wilds was too when you kind of really break it down. It was pretty
But
empty.
It was
but
empty,
it was
but it was
beautiful.
filled. It was beautiful, and it was filled with great architecture, like gaming architecture.
Right.
Like a lot
Now,
of trees, a lot of like it was like they did things to hide the fact that it was so empty.
Mhm.
how they get around that in Pokemon is by having lots of Pokemon in it. It is empty besides the Pokemon. Um, and that's something I really like is how the Pokemon are just sort of dispersed around the map. You can't really, I mean, you can look up game codes and stuff to find out where each Pokemon is, when, where, why, and how, but that's not fun. I'll be honest, I found some really rare Pokemon already, and it only like 2 or 3, but each of them I found like by accident. I was like, "Holy shit. I have to catch that. I have to have that." Um,
Gotta
and I
catch them
went out
all.
of my way. Like one of the
I
Pokemon was like 20 levels higher than me, and I was
and
able
you
to
caught it?
tweak by and I was able to catch it. I
Oh
won't
wow.
listen to me. It's too strong to listen to me, but in
Mhm.
like one more rank, if I rank up one more time, it'll start listening to me.
I do
So,
imagine just having the ability to see the Pokemon because they're out at all times, right? It's not a wild grass
yep.
random encounter deal where you don't know what Pokemon is there, right?
You can see him forever, and the
Mm.
further back you go, the slower the frame rate gets, but you can still see him.
And that's new
Um,
to Pokemon, right?
Technically, it was in the last game, Sword and Shield,
Mhm.
but kind of as a test. It was more of a let's see if we can put Pokemon in the wild area, and have you interact with them over screen. It was also in Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee.
Hmm.
This game is basically a sequel to Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, but it cuts out all the nonsense of Pikachu and Eevee. Basically because you are just catching Pokemon. That's what you're doing. Same goal as Pokemon Go. Catch as many Pokemon as you can, but this time it feels worthwhile
Mm.
because your traversal where you can go on the map is based off of your ranking with the guild you're working with. Um, and that you have to level up your rank, you have to complete a certain number of Pokedex entries. Pokedex entries don't just take you catching one Pokemon. You've got to catch 25 Bidoof. you've got to catch, at least some of them have to be fat, some of them have to be thin. Some of them have to be some of them have to attack with a certain move. You have to see Pokemon use moves to verify that they do them. So there's
in the
there's a
wild, you
in
mean,
the
or can you catch one and
you
then
you
like
can catch
use the
one
move
and
yourself?
use it that way too, but you can also
Okay.
just see them in the wild do it.
Huh.
As long as you see that Pokemon do this thing a certain number of times, it levels you up in your rank.
Wait a second.
Um,
Do wild Pokemon fight each other in the wild
I don't think so. I
randomly?
haven't seen it yet.
Okay.
Multiple Pokemon will
I
gang
think
up
that
on
was
you
cool.
though.
Oh,
Um,
really?
yeah, that's something that's been
In the
kind of fun
wild?
in the wild. So if
Huh.
you're sneaking around and let's say you're walking through a little forest area and there's a bunch of Pokemon around and there's a couple of aggressive Pokemon that will fight you, and let's say you're sneaking up behind one and one of them notices you and starts coming at you and you start a battle with another Pokemon, both of them will kind of gang up on you.
Hmm.
And I like that.
That's awesome.
That's pretty
So it's
fun.
like a halfway measure in between Monster Hunter, because
Yeah.
a lot of the stuff you're describing sounds like Monster Hunter. Not really the biggest fan of Monster Hunter, but I've always appreciated how
Yeah.
those games work, where you can theoretically set up the monsters to fight each other, and it doesn't seem like
Yeah.
it goes that far.
Yeah.
But it seems like a halfway measure in that the Pokemon there is an ecosystem there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think that's really cool.
And the ecosystems are nicely splayed out. Like it makes sense where every Pokemon is. It really does. Yeah.
Can
That's cool.
you, when that does happen, when two gang up on you, do you throw two different Pokemon? Like,
No,
I'm guessing you can't throw out your whole arsenal of Pokemon
Yeah, no,
to defend your
you can
honor.
only fight with one. So if you get in a fight with three
Yeah.
Pokemon, it's 3 against 1.
Oh,
And
man.
that's actually
Oh.
another thing I would say is this is the first difficult Pokemon game. I haven't lost yet. But I have come close. I have struggled in a couple situations like it was some random wild Pokemon I wanted to catch. And it just kept one-shotting each of my Pokemon.
Were you the
And
same level?
I was technically higher level than it.
Oh,
No
okay.
bad.
Huh.
It was just a stronger Pokemon. It was just it had better stats. And I almost blacked out, but I was like I caught it in the end and I'm like now I have to run all the way back to camp to heal up and without getting in any more fights. Now there is fast travel in the game, but you unlock that after right before the first boss.
Oh,
So
okay.
up until then, you are kind of struggling to like maintain your health because you're thrown against so many Pokemon, and some of them might be really good. And then there's Alpha Pokemon, which are huge Pokemon that are much stronger than you.
Are there other
Um,
beta Pokemon?
Technically, yes, they're not named that, but there are small
Okay.
Pokemon.
It's not a
Um,
category. It's not a category, but
Not a
they're beta.
category in the game, but
Got
there's
it, got it.
Alpha Pokemon and then there's Noble Pokemon, and they're the boss fights, the Noble Pokemon, and that they're regular boss fights with phases. It's really cool. This
Real quick question before you go on, because you mentioned having to that fast travel unlocks right before the first boss. For you, that's
Yeah.
about 4 hours in. Before that point, did you feel like it was a slog running back and forth in the empty world, or did you feel like they did a good job at, whether that be having quest givers not be too far or having interesting things on the path going to and from where you were going? How'd they
I
balance that?
I think it was fine for 2 reasons. The 2 reasons are, 1, like I've already said, your rank depends on how many Pokemon of a certain thing you catch and how you catch them and where you catch them and what they do. So the more Pokemon you meet, the more Pokemon you pass by. So let's say you got to loop around. You go the extra loop and now you rank up like boom, like that. It's grinding. It's
Okay.
grinding, but it's a more immersive grinding. This is I would call this a Pokemon simulator. It is simulating Pokemon.
That's a
Um,
really smart system, I guess. Since you have to catch that many Pokemon anyway, you would be stopping on the way to get the Pokemon, so your rank goes up.
and like I said, it doesn't take that long at all. It really just takes you sneaking up on a Pokemon, throwing a ball at it, and might catch it, might not. Who knows? That's the dice roll. And then you might try to catch a Pokemon and it gets scared, runs away. You've lost that one. You might not see it again for a while. or you're up against a Pokemon, you throw it, and it shakes it off and engages you in battle. And so it's usually pretty quick. A lot of the Pokemon are just going to be caught, but there's that one in a dozen that just makes your life a little bit harder. And I like that. That keeps you thinking, that keeps you involved with the game, which I've really liked so far. Secondly, I would say their crafting system. I like their crafting system. It's not like complex. It's not the most intense crafting system I've ever seen, but yeah, it's how you get Pokeballs, and you need a lot of Pokeballs in
You
this game.
can't just
so
buy them at the Pokemart.
You can,
World's
but
first Pokemart.
Is there a Pokemart?
there's a guy
Okay.
who will sell you stuff.
But not
you can't-
Pokeballs.
No, you can buy Pokeballs, but it's a lot because it's a lot easier to just make them. It's a lot
Okay.
easier to just make them.
It's like you're throwing them bitches like a lot. Like it's
Yeah.
some of this
Right.
gameplay I've seen, like you're just throwing them like they're Skittles.
Yeah.
So I assume that making them just easier.
So scattered around the map, there are trees and rocks that are identifiable from a while away that you just have to run up to, throw your Pokemon at them, and they break. And then you get the materials for crafting. And it is technically monotonous, but why it works for me is because it is using your Pokemon, and the UI for the Pokemon screen is so useful. It's so sleek. It's just press L or R and you move from Pokemon to Pokemon. So you want to bond a little bit more with your Stantler, you throw it out and it breaks the rock, and it gets a little bit of experience points each time it breaks a rock, each time it breaks a tree.
Oh wow.
And so you do feel like you're bonding with your Pokemon while they're coming out and getting materials for you. And again, it is snappy. It is a snappy, you just throw it out, you keep running, your Pokemon breaks it, returns to you. You just keep running and you just throw your Pokemon, boom, 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 collect that, collect this, collect that, collect this. And then you get back to base camp, heal up, and then make like 50 Pokeballs. I think it's a very, very rewarding system. And you get more recipes for better items every single time you rank up. It's just, there's so much I like about this game. The only downside is the graphics, and I think that's just because they put so much effort into the Pokemon, and the Pokemon look good.
Well, look, and when it comes to Switch games, you can put that as a con for a lot
Oh yeah,
of Switch games. So if
Yes.
that's the worst part about it, sounds like a really, really good step in the right direction. I guess one question to end it off: do you see us getting a Pokemon Pink and Green, or do you think that this is going to be the primary franchise
okay.
now?
That's a
Here's
great
my
question.
thought about that. Because I was looking at, because Nintendo kept it under wraps who worked on this game, who in Game Freak worked on this game. Everyone wanted to know because they're like, if it's this director, it's going to be shit. If it's this director, it's probably going to be good. People just wanted to know, but they kept it wrapped until the game came out. And the most surprising thing to me is that their original 3D artist, who they hired for Black and White, British guy who used to work at the game company that made Pokemon Coliseum and XD, he's not anywhere in the credits.
Mm.
So
And I think I know why. He has been designated the new Pokemon designer. He runs the team that designs the Pokemon. So how I think it's going to work is Pokemon's going to release a new game and then a remake and an Arceus-like game, a Legends game. I think that's going to be their pattern, is new game with new Pokemon and all that stuff to, keep that ball rolling.
When you're saying new game, are you saying like Sword and Shield?
Like Sword and
Or-
Shield,
okay,
Black
okay.
and White.
You really
X
think
and Y.
they're going to go back to that?
Yes. Yeah.
I don't know.
That'd be so disappointing because
Yeah,
it sounds like from everything you're
I
saying.
don't know.
they're
'Cause I
making
feel
the right
like
moves.
they have momentum with this game
They do.
in a way that they have not. Like Sword and Shield, I know reviewed well and sold
And
very
sold.
well.
Mhm.
But you could tell the fan reception to that game was not near what this is going to be.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And
But-
I think that it's a mistake to
Yeah.
go back to that original. I feel like you're gonna obviously get some fans, because you even said it yourself, there are gonna be some fans that don't like this new approach. You don't think so
Do you
anymore?
still feel that way now that you played it?
Yes.
So they
So-
won't like this new approach.
So you
Okay.
think that because there's gonna be those fans, they're gonna have to make a Pokemon Pink and Green
Standard Pokemon.
Well, I think what they're going to do with the new Pokemon games is that they're going to use this as a template, which they've done before. Whenever they make a good game, they tend to use it as the template. Like look at Ruby and Sapphire. They used that as a template for like 6 years because it was so good.
Mhm.
They kind of just like X and Y, not the best games, but very very well received, and they used that as a template up until now.
Mhm.
So every single Pokemon game we've seen so far has been has its architecture in X and Y, which is like a 15-year-old DS game.
God, yeah, you're right.
I know it's crazy, but I think they're going to use this game as a template for the next games. Not the same engine, not all that, but they're going to use it as a jumping off point to make the next Pokemon Sword and Shield or whatever the next game is. Pokemon
So you think it's gonna have
Tissue.
more gameplay mechanics that are similar
Yes,
to this?
yeah.
Because I know just
Okay.
little things that because I watched
Hmm.
my friend play it today. He showed me like maybe an hour of it, and the one thing that I thought was interesting is you can control when the Pokemon evolves,
Yes, that's
and
really cool.
and you can control like when they learn moves.
Yeah.
And I think stuff like that, and also just the real time where you're always controlling the trainer.
Yeah.
I think that's gonna probably be here to stay. I don't think
Yeah.
that's gonna be locked exclusively to the Legend series.
I don't
Honestly,
think
you're saying everything that a Pokemon skeptic like me would want from the series. It sounds like it's going forward, and you're
Yeah.
kind of actually selling me on this game.
Yeah.
Because I came in here and I was like, I'm not getting this. I don't think it's that good.
keep in
But
mind,
now-
I'm looking at the map. Like the map I'm in looks very small in the painting, but it's pretty big. Each realm is pretty in depth. Like there's a lot of different areas to explore in each zone, and if it keeps the
Yeah.
momentum it has now, I'm going to be very impressed. Now I will say, yeah, I think that a lot of the quality of life upgrades that this game brings to the series will continue on. Some of them won't, however. I guarantee some of them won't, because that's just the way Nintendo and Pokemon does stuff. They
Do you
just
think we're ever going to get the battle screens that we've gotten for 20 something years again? Or do you think
No.
we're going to have it? It's going to be like this more.
No, actually, I do think we're going to go back to the battle screens for at least those supplementary, like, here's a new region, here's a new bunch of Pokemon stuff.
See, I disagree. I think they're going to only use those for the remakes. I think the remakes are going to be, I feel like the Diamond and Pearl remakes were the template for what they're going to do for those type of games now.
Sure.
And I feel like this new because it's just, I feel like if this game becomes the highest selling Pokemon game ever, which is very possible, like it's
Yeah,
I
very
do
possible
too.
because I mean, I think Sword and Shield is currently the highest selling, right?
yeah.
So I think it's and Sword and Shield didn't have the greatest fan reception. I
Mhm.
think this game has all the momentum in its favor to be the highest selling Pokemon game in the franchise.
Yeah, if all you're saying is we got to get over, the ugly textures, I feel like we've already for 20 years have been ignoring some,
Yeah.
just the
Glaring,
monotonous
yeah.
same exact
And I
thing.
think,
So if that's the only thing we have to get over, we can do that.
And I think Nintendo's gonna look at this game and like, we're not gonna let you fuck this up. We're not gonna let you go back to the other bullshit you were doing just to cut corners. Like you see the success you got with this.
I could see them taking some time
To refine it
on the next one. And what I think they're going to keep doing is these prequel games. I think they're going to keep doing like these historic Pokemon games that take place 200 years before the main setting, because
in different regions.
I feel like they got, X and Y. They could make a Pokemon Legends Kalos, because that game has like a war in it. There's a war that happened 200 years ago that set everything into the motion.
So cool.
That would be awesome. That would
Can we get a Pokemon Legends Mew?
I assume so. I assume they're gonna say, "Let's go."
I feel like that's the one that would sell.
Yeah.
That would
honestly,
be the big one.
Any of them would sell, honestly. But real quick, because we do have some questions by one of our fallen dukes. He's Cole, aka the Duke of Rock League. He's asking, is there anything else to find in the open world other than Pokemon, and are there towns?
I don't know yet. In the region I'm in right now, there are not. There are people that sometimes spawn in the game that want you to do certain things. Like you can bump into people who are like, I want a mushroom and I need a Paris. I need these Pokemon. I've always wanted to see a Wurmple. I've always wanted to see a Wurmple evolve, and you have to go do things for these people, and you get items for it.
Oh,
I haven't come across any towns. I think there are going to be later in the game at least one hidden town that I've heard of. But other than that, there isn't much more than Pokemon to find on the routes.
okay. So they're saving it for the second revision, the Pokemon Legends Mew. Well, as
Yes,
you were
yeah.
saying.
Again,
Okay.
Codename Mew. Here we
what I
go.
want to take away from this game is I am excited for Pokemon's future, and I think they've struck gold. I think if Pokemon keeps going like this, they are never gonna die. If they keep making games like this, but with better and better quality each time, they're gonna be shit and gold.
Can you imagine if they came out with this game and they actually came out with Breath of the Wild-esque graphics?
It'd be
Oh, yeah.
Like,
pretty.
they would have already won by
It'd
now.
be pretty fucking amazing.
I'm gonna throw out a controversial opinion.
Oh,
I feel like this game was developed in 2002.
I mean, it kinda
And
looks like it.
as soon as maybe I don't know who's the head person in charge. As soon as they saw it, they said, "Hold it, put this in the vault until we really need it."
That's
And
true.
they
I would
really needed it.
I
Not this
would
game per se, but I refuse to believe they did not ever take influence from the anime in some
I'm
of those prototypes.
I'm trying to remember what Pokemon Coliseum looked like, and
It
I
Not
don't
like
think
this.
a
Not
lot
like
more polygonal. It was a lot.
Okay.
It was clearly an old game. This at
Okay.
least looks more modern. It looks
Yeah,
almost
yeah.
to
But
par.
the basics from Pokemon Coliseum were there,
Yes,
right?
yeah, yeah.
From what this game is, at least
Pokemon
from what I
Coliseum
understand.
is great.
Is that a Pokemon Coliseum? Oh, Stadium.
GameCube, right?
Stadium is
Stadium
64.
64,
Yes.
Coliseum was
Coliseum
GameCube.
is GameCube.
Yeah. I would say that I stand by my assumption that the problem with the animation at Game Freak is the fact that they're still learning 3D. They never hired anyone super professional to do 3D. They had 3D people who kind of had to learn it as soon as Nintendo told them you have to go 3D now. So they've kind of been struggling. Like the guy who directed the 3D programming in this game programmed the 3D programming for Pokemon Quest, which was like
Wow.
Oh.
he didn't really have the experience. And I will also give Pokemon the credit that unlike Breath of the Wild, which has a pretty set number of assets, you got your goblins, your Grigoblins, your Goobloblins, you got all these basic enemies that you're fighting all around the map. Pokemon has in this game over 240 different Pokemon that they need to put in the game with different moves, with different animations, with
Yeah.
different sounds. You know, they have a bunch of assets to throw in the game, and that takes up
I
a
think
good chunk of
I think
memory.
Mario's a more apt comparison. Like Odyssey's a more apt comparison to it.
Odyssey's definitely much more apt.
Because Odyssey, like, there's a lot of animations going on in that game.
True, but
where you have a whole bunch of enemies, and then you have Mario animated as those enemies as well. It's
yeah,
less of an open world, but it's a lot of animations going. So we've
Right.
seen Switch games be able to handle it, but
Yeah.
this is a
Yeah.
step in the right direction. This is
What- but
definitely a
what
step
I-
in the right direction what they're
yeah,
doing.
what I think I really do think that they're still struggling to understand how to compress everything properly. They don't have that knowledge because they've been working with the same technology since Red and Blue. Like they really haven't evolved that much, and now they're being forced to. So
Oh,
I
I
think
was
they're-
just gonna
yeah.
say. I'm
Yeah, go
just
ahead.
gonna say, I don't know. And I feel like this is a whole conversation. We could have a whole conversation in and of itself, and I feel like we kind of have, but it's kind of ridiculous at a certain point because you're Game Freak, but this is Pokemon, which is the most financially successful franchise in the world, like one of the most financially successful
But-
franchises, the moneymaker. So you can afford to do it. It sounds like Game Freak is more interested in, being loyal to their people
Fan
who have
base.
been with them,
Yeah.
employees who have been with them for 20 years.
Oh yeah, no, I
But-
got to give them credit for being super loyal.
Yeah,
They are
which is
really
good.
loyal. Yeah.
But why can't you pull in other resources at Nintendo games that have accomplished this, that have, do a collaboration with Breath of the Wild, get them in and
I
see
don't
how
know.
to
I
integrate their engine
I
and
don't
what they
know.
did to make this a success.
The answer is they don't feel like they need to.
And they don't.
And they
I'm
don't.
just saying,
They don't.
That is the
It's
answer to the
ridiculous.
question. It like in a perfect world, of course they should do that. But they
Yeah.
don't feel like they need to because the game is going to sell the same
Yeah.
regardless.
Right.
Flies off the
Yeah,
shelves.
but I do hate there are YouTubers out there and like people on Twitter who will say, I made a Pokemon game in the vein of Breath of the Wild, so Game Freak doesn't have to, and they put out a fucking video of like all the Pokemon models in like an empty field, and they're like, look, 3D Pokemon, I did it. I'm like, that's not, there's a
little more
lot
complicated.
more, it's a lot more complicated to make a game.
Yeah.
But
Intertwining systems, mechanics,
yeah,
all that.
I can excuse some of the bad graphics because I do think Nintendo's still learning. I wish they would do what you're saying, Alfredo, hire someone who knows what they're doing instead of learning it. But Thomas, you're also right. They're just doing it because they have the money. Who cares? Who really
I also
cares?
think they have another
Yeah.
thing in their back pocket: becoming Pokemon VTubers. Get ready for
There
that
you
one.
go.
No.
Get
I
ready
mean,
for
they're gonna
that
do
one.
it.
No.
Oh, man.
I'm
This-
looking
this-
forward to the future.
This has been
Pokemon's gonna be
a great
great.
conversation, and I plan on once I get the game, whether it's next week or a week after, we'll have a better conversation about it because maybe we'll get Alfredo to get it, maybe we'll get Cole and Ben to get it.
I mean, you have convinced me, Claims,
You
to
have,
get
you
it.
convinced me too.
You
Like
did.
you, I thought it was more like Monster Hunter, and I don't really like Monster Hunter, but you kind of describing it to me, I'm like, oh no, it's still Pokemon.
Yeah,
Mhm.
It just is a more.
yeah,
It's
it's still Pokemon.
But it's
evolved.
Yeah.
Yes. Look at
Yes.
that. Look at that.
That's how we end a topic, y'all. That's how we end a topic.